Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Griffin and I'm a filmmaker based out of Orange County, California. And today I'm taking you behind the scenes of a job we're on. Today's job is a bit more of a, simplified / basic job. It's not necessarily like the most overblown production ever, which is why I thought it'd be a bit more relatable and something cool to show on the channel. So I'll walk you through kind of the cameras we're using, what we're shooting, some of the deliverables, and kind of how I structure days like today that are more of like a retainer-based client, where it's kind of a simple shoot that's just for YouTube and social. So let's get right into it. So cameras we're using today, I was originally planning to use my C500 because I actually really like the way it's rigged out. We got this big doctor bag, just kind of a mess right now, but we will be using the C70s instead. Bright tangerine cage, kind of a stripped down configuration. I'm not using any monitor. When I do these simple shoots, I don't really like to have like monitors, cables, more power draw, more stuff to manage, just more complication. Crew size is just myself and my buddy Levi, who's filming me right now on the R3, which is going to be our C cam. B cam is also a C70. We won't be using the PL lenses, we're just using EF lenses, speed booster on both. And yeah, again, simple setup on this one. And the reason I do that is I don't like to have too much to manage. I like to keep it a bit more simple. Got all the different lenses, media, mics. Mics we've been using lately are these Deity, what do they call them? Deity Theos Lavs. I'm recording internal on this one, so hopefully it sounds good. I'm using the second one on our A camera to record our talent, who's going to be talking a bit about shocks and how they're built and stuff like that. So I will be doing an updated van tour at some point in time. This is not the beautiful configuration, but this is the charging kit, which is kind of mobile. And then lights, just walk with me and we'll go over here. Just kind of simple setup for lights, 600D, 300D, some stingers, a couple C-stands, and then the other main camera that we've been using a ton on every single shoot is the Inspire 3, and we'll be flying this later today, so we're not doing the full motor crane or the arm car, just like I said, a bit more simple, so we're just doing the Inspire, but the Inspire looks beautiful and we really love it. So we're gonna get into it, it's time to set up, so let's do it. All right guys, so we're all set up for the interview. We're running 2 cams today. Like I said, C70. This one's got a 24-70 with the speed booster. I actually ended up going to the RF 24-105 over here. I like to vary the focal lengths by about like 2 focal lengths. So 35 on one, 70 on the other, or like 50 on one, 100 on the other, just so they don't really look the same. It's like a bit of a different angle. Light, we're running the 600D through the Light Dome 150. It's kind of like my go-to, big soft source, kind of like the front 3/4. Our subject's gonna be standing right here. And usually the 3/4 lighting is kind of like what looks best for most professional interviews. Like I said, he's running the Deity Theos, which is going directly to the A cam. Just keeping it simple, no off-camera monitors, no wireless video today. Last thing I like to do before we get started is I'll just double check all the settings. I want to be in 4K, 23.98, make sure the scratch audio on both, make sure to match up the white balance. So like for example, I decided I'm gonna be at 4800 -1, 2 stops, 2.8, 800. I'm gonna go over to this one. I'm gonna match all those exact settings. See if I can remember. We got a 4800 and -1, which is, I need to fix that Kelvin thing, 2 stops. This is a 2.8, so we'll go the other way. 800, cool, and then that's a match. And once it gets in, I will make a final settings adjustment. I might go like a third of a stop or even sometimes a half a stop, just depending on the lenses, because occasionally like certain lenses are brighter versus darker at 2.8. We're rolling 2 cams, and if you mess up any ums and ahs or you want to retake something, totally fine.
Yeah.
You can just like stop, and you could just, if you didn't feel good about a line, you could just literally just re-say it.
Okay.
The way the tacos are, like the coils are, if you didn't like that, just literally just stop, retake the whole thing, cool. And I'll never put the one that's bad in there. We'll just cut to the other angle, or we'll cut to B-roll. Like we already have tons of good B-roll already from the last shoot, and then we're gonna shoot a bunch more for this. Cool. So I think my target length for the video, unless it's specified in here, since it's for YouTube, is that like 8 to 12 minute range. Okay. Is kind of the sweet spot. If it's a little longer, that's fine. A little shorter, I'd say people value the information. Okay. YouTube, they're ready to sit down and listen. Okay. That's really the big pre-purchase. They want to get all the info. So, and then did you want me to prompt you through, or like you have your notes, you kind of want to just glance at them?
I tend to do better when we go like little bit by bit.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say is shooting videos is like making pancakes. You always mess up the first time, so just we're making a bunch of pancakes. Don't worry about it. So if the first take's not great, don't stress out. Ryan, can you give me I'm gonna set volume levels, so maybe if you could kind of just give me like a little bit of your intro. Like, I'm not gonna use this part, but if you could just kind of tell me just a little bit about, just start talking about the shock, basically.
Yeah, these are Ride shocks. These are our show demos here.
This is great, by the way. It'll take me a second to get it dialed in.
Yeah.
Let me fix the just the gain on your mic real quick.
Oh yeah.
I'll take that right here, thank you. And here we go, 3, 2, 1, action.
Hey, this is Ryan from Ride Shocks, and today I'm going to tell you about our Tacoma shocks. We're going to go over some of the basic features and benefits of the shocks in general, and then we're going to go over some Tacoma specific benefits.
All right guys, so we just wrapped up shooting the A-roll for the first 3 videos for YouTube that we're shooting. Now we're going to jump into a little bit of B-roll. When I shoot B-roll, I like to use the R3. It's got internal stabilization, and the 24-105 RF lens also has stabilization, so it allows me to get some really nice smooth handheld shots for like super close-ups on the shocks and things like that. It's just like a kind of a quick, easy way to get a lot of dynamic shots. Obviously I have the bigger setups, I have gimbals and all that stuff, but a lot of times it's just like a little bit more complication. So for me, when I'm doing these smaller shoots, I really like to simplify things the best that I can. Now, every setting is different, every circumstance is different. If I was doing a walk and talk, for example, for sure gonna use a gimbal. But in this instance, I'm just gonna jump to 120 frames per second on the R3 in 4K, and it's got really nice tracking as well, so I can get some like real close-ups here on the shocks and things like that. And yeah, just really like how it looks. And the C70, without having stabilization in the body, that's one of the reasons why I'll use the R3 in this instance as opposed to the C70. Whereas for the interviews, I prefer the C70 because it's got like much better battery life, reliable face-only autofocus, and it's got the internal audio with good preamps as well. So that's kind of why I use like one camera versus another. In the interview setting, I generally prefer the cinema format, and then for B-roll, I kind of like having internal stabilization. All right guys, so we just wrapped up at location 1 here in the shop. Now we're gonna go out, we're gonna shoot some drone stuff, so it should be a little bit more fun. You know, shop stuff's cool, but the drone stuff is kind of where the magic happens. So it should be a lot of fun. We're hoping to go out to this location that they mapped out for us ahead of time. So I haven't been there, Levi hasn't been there, but they said it's a pretty cool spot with some cool views and whatnot. So the focus today is not so much showing the cars working off-road because we already got that in a different shoot, but we're gonna go out and capture kind of like some on-road B-roll. In terms of like gear, a little bit of a wrap up, I'm gonna be honest, I was having some weird issues with the Deity Theos. It sounded like a little bit of a gain issue, like it was like over-gained, even though I had it turned all the way to 0. So I am gonna write Deity support. I'm not saying it's a Deity problem. It very well could have been user error, but I will say, I kind of have mixed feelings about the Deity Theos system at the moment. Like I used it on a different shoot and kind of ran into some issues. Actually 2 other shoots and ran into some issues. So I'm not saying it's a bad product. I just haven't, I don't know, maybe I haven't figured it out right. But let me know if you guys have experienced anything like that with the gain being set at 0, running it into a cinema camera. I had it into the mic input, not the XLR, but like the 3.5 mic. And the camera was turned, it was not clipping on the camera, but it still sounded like it was overgained, which was a weird issue. But anyways, you know, I had a backup and we're fine. In terms of other gear, we use the R3 a lot for the B-roll, and then we use the C70s, like I said, the A cam and B cam for the 2 for the interview. So anyways, that's enough of that. We'll jump to it. Go fly to Inspire. Yeah, it's beautiful. All right guys, so that's a wrap for today. Pretty fun shoot. It's super hot right now. I'm regretting my decision to wear jeans. But anyways, overall it's fun. We moved to location 2, flew the Inspire around a bunch, got some cool tracking shots, tried a few different locations, a few different looks. Also got a few extra GoPro angles. GoPro that I was using is like the Hero 11 I really wish somebody made a better version of a GoPro. It always like, there's always some weird restrictions with the frame and stuff. But yeah, I think we got a lot of good shots. Definitely achieved more than what we needed to for this shoot. But my goal with this one was kind of like basically overshoot. So I've got a bit of a backlog of content. So as we continue to work together in the future with this client, I have extra things we can pull from, extra resources. For these types of shoots, that's kind of always something that's in my mind, is like, number one, how can we be as efficient as possible? Not just like in terms of like going fast, but also like run a lean crew, only bring the like tools that are necessary. Like we didn't bring the motor crane for this one, even though we totally could have, but it just wasn't necessary. So like the juice is not worth the squeeze, so to speak. Wanted to use like kind of quick and easy tools. Didn't even do anything with the black arm. So overall, it was a great shoot, and I'm excited that I could bring you guys behind the scenes. Drop any questions if you guys have any in the comments. I'd love to make it a discussion where we could kind of ask and help each other out. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.